Well, listeners, Indonesia and India have established their cooperation for decades ago, or since decades ago, and during this time, there's some progress in their relationship, even in political, economic, social, and other sectors. And today, here in our studio, we invited Indian Ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency Pradeep Kumar Rawat. How are you?
Very fine. First of all, a very good morning to all the listeners of RRE.
Okay, welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Ambassador Kumar Rawat, Indonesia and was honored by the visit of the Indian Minister of Foreign Affairs to Indonesia last year, 2019. And Indonesia became the first country visited by the Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar, correct me,
yes.
After he was appointed. So does the visit indicate that the two countries are optimistic that they can reach the target of 50 million US dollars in trade cooperation in 2025? And how is it working now?
Well, if you look at it, the trade target of 50 billion, our trade presently is US dollar 21 billion. And our trade is largely composed of two commodities, palm oil and coal. Now with two commodities we can reach $21 billion. If we are able to further diversify our trade, we can certainly reach the target of 50 billion. I would say the target of 50 billion is conservative when we look at the size of our economies. Between India and Indonesia, the size of our economy is close to $4 trillion. Now in $4 trillion, 50 billion is just a very small sum. So we are very optimistic. But we should not only be talking about trade in goods. There is a huge opportunity for our two countries in trade in services. IT services, health services, and many other services, which can help our economies to become more competitive and also our consumers better served. So in that context, I would say that the emphasis that both our leaderships, Indian leadership and Indonesian leadership, are attaching to the relationship is very important. And in that context, my foreign minister, when he chose to visit Indonesia as the first destination in ASEAN, is certainly very significant. But even more significant, I would say, the relationship that our two leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President Jokowi, has now. If you see in 2018, in January, we had President Jokowi visit India.
Yes.
And the same year, in May, we have Prime Minister Modi visit Indonesia.
Yes.
And after 1950, this is the first year that we have the both leaders visiting. In 50, we had President Sukarno visit India on 26 January, our first Republic Day, and Prime Minister Nehru visit the same year Indonesia.
Yes. So this indicates that the two countries still have a very close relationship, even already decades, 1950, 2019. Whoa. Okay, Ambassador Rawat, as you said that there are opportunities like in the health sectors and other sectors. So what are the challenges facing by the two countries at this time, since we know that today palm oil is an issue for international issue at the time. So how is the prospect of this business palm oil between Indonesia and in India?
I would say the prospect is very good. India is already the largest importer of palm oil from Indonesia, and the trade is of close to $5 billion. So it's a large, I would say, large amount, and it's a large part of our trade. And certainly as Indian economy grows, as our population grows, because we are still a growing population, the need for edible oil will certainly be large. And as you know, that among many things that Indian and Indonesian people share, one common thing is that we both love gorengan. So, for example, you have a lot of gorengan and we have the samosas and the pakoras.
Yes.
So, I don't see the appetite for edible oil going down anytime soon, either in Indonesia or in India.
Okay, thank you. So, what the possibility for a technology cooperation? We know that, yeah, I believe that India is one country is growing now in technology among those countries with sophisticated technology.
The importance of India and Indonesia cooperation is that given the size and the diversity of our countries, technology can be instrumental in providing better services and better connectivity. For example, education.
Yes.
There are areas where you cannot have very high quality teachers because they are remote areas. But through technology, you can actually provide them high quality lectures because you have now digital tech in education.
That's right.
Similarly, you can't have banks in all areas, but through fintech, the areas can be better served. Similarly, health tech. Doctors cannot be, specialists cannot be there in all areas, but through health applications, they can have consultation with some of the better doctors. So, in terms of Indian mindset, what we say, we need to develop appropriate technology which is suitable for us, suitable for our own conditions. It need not be super high technology because it's very expensive,
Yes.
and given our level of development, it can be problematic for us because we may not be able to afford it. So India's emphasis on appropriate technology could be very relevant for Indonesia also, because our level of development, our per capita income, they are very similar.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. So, Excellency, what about Indonesia and India comprehensive economic partnership agreement negotiation? The future of this negotiation.
As you know that several years ago we had undertaken a study, and we had started some discussions on having a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. But in between, we came across a regional agreement called RCEP.
RCEP, yes.
And both our countries decided that since the resources needed to continue negotiations on different trading arrangements, it's better that we prioritize RCEP. And we did not pursue the negotiations about CEPA.
CEPA, okay.
But now, since RCEP is more or less done, there are opportunities for us, for India and Indonesia, to go back and take a look at CEPA and see that in our bilateral relations, trading relations, what is working best for our economies and what is not, and then try and work out a trading arrangement which helps our economies to grow, to diversify, and also to become more competitive globally.
So does it mean that you will keep that RCEP there and then you move to CEPA?
Because RCEP is more like a regional trading arrangement,
yes.
and as you know that India has some challenges with RCEP. But CEPA is like bilateral.
Yes.
So there is, I don't see there is a contradiction in that. In CEPA, you can also have a much better arrangement, which is maybe bigger, better than even regional trading arrangements.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. So, what could be the two countries, India and Indonesia, would take a benefit from a CEPA?
For example, as I mentioned, that today our trade $21 billion
Yes.
is highly skewed, both in terms of commodities that we are trading, and also in terms of the trade balance. Indonesia is very fortunate. It has close to $10 billion worth of trade surplus with India.
Surplus.
Probably among the largest trade surpluses that Indonesia has with any country. But we need to diversify our trade basket. There are many products that Indonesia is exporting to other parts of the world,
yes,
but not exporting to India. There are many products that India is exporting to other parts of the world, but not exporting to Indonesia.
Yes.
So we need to bring more balance. We need to bring more maturity in our trade.
Okay. So what sectors products that could be,
for example, one product
potential for that.
Well, one product could be, for example, engineering goods.
Engineering goods.
India is very strong in engineering goods, and we are a major exporter of not only engineering goods but also engineering services. So that could be one area. The other area could be pharmaceuticals. India is a world leader in pharmaceuticals. And given the challenges that Indonesia has with BPJS, where there is a need to reduce the cost, India could be a very valuable partner for Indonesia, because the healthcare costs in India are the lowest in the world.
Yes. Lowest in the world.
I can tell you that because I have done a comparison. In India, we can do a open heart surgery for Indian patients for as low as $1,000 to $1,500. In most of the countries, it would cost close to $10,000 or maybe more.
Yes, Your Excellency, that today there are quite a lot of Indonesian people who get treatment outside Indonesia to their neighboring countries. So it means that there is a chance for them to go to India.
I would certainly suggest that there is a possibility, because India is now a very important what we call health tourism destination. And we receive patients from many advanced countries. For example, India is a recognized destination for British healthcare. There are many patients that we receive from the Gulf countries, from Central Asia, and also from United States of America.
Oh, really?
We do.
Yes. Your Excellency, I would like to move a little bit from economy trade to a little bit larger discussion. So India and Indonesia are important partners and play a very important role in the international fora. So how should the two countries still develop their cooperation based on the situation of the world today? Political situation, economic situation, and the trade situation that we are facing day to day, from day to day at this time?
I would say that India and Indonesia have, given the size and given the position that they occupy, have an important responsibility to contribute more for the international and global system. And in that context, when Indonesia took the lead in defining what we call the ASEAN outlook on Indo-Pacific, India was the first major country which welcomed that and said that yes, we support Indonesia and Indonesia's idea of AOIP. Now, it reminds me that it's not the first time that our two countries have the responsibility or the possibility. If you go back to 1940s and 50s, and you look what President Sukarno and my first Prime Minister Nehru and other leaders have said, that the success of India's and Indonesia's freedom struggle is critical for the success of freedom struggles in other colonies. And it actually happened, because after India and Indonesia became independent, you see that within next 20 years, there were no colonies left in the world. So we have done it in the past, and certainly if we cooperate and we work closely again, we can certainly meet the challenges of today.
Okay. Yes, as a closing statement for this time, Ambassador Kumar Rawat, so what do you want to say about the two countries' relationship or cooperation today?
Well, I would say that India and Indonesia, we are very similar in many ways. And the similarity starts with the name of our two countries. So you look at I and D. The first three letters of our two countries are similar, and it's not accident. It's, I think, has historical background to it. The names, the love for music.
Yes.
You look in terms of the some of the famous stories in our two countries, Ramayana, Mahabharata.
Yes.
You look in terms of the diversity. Multi-religious, multilingual, multicultural. You look at the core values of our two countries or two peoples, Panchashila. So we share so many similarities with each other that some people even say that maybe we are twins separated at birth. So in that, I would say that Indians and Indonesians, we feel close to each other instinctively. And we must work more on that. We must connect our people better, so that while we feel culturally close, we should also feel geographically close.
Yes.
So I hope that we would have many direct flights connecting many cities of India with many cities of Indonesia. And with this, I once again wish the listeners of RRE very best, wish them a happy new year as well as a happy new decade, because in the month of January we are going to have 3 new years. January 1,
Yes.
January 14 was celebrated in a large part of India as a Indian New Year, and today is the New Year Eve for the Chinese New Year. So I can also tell the readers of listeners of RRE, Kung Shi Fa Sai, Xin Nian Kuai La.
Okay. Thank you, your ambassador.
Yes.
Well, listeners, that was my short conversation with Indian Ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency Pradeep Kumar Rawat, and I hope that what we are discussing this today is beneficial for all of us. I'm Dalat Fane. See you next time. Bye-bye.